Alright, there we are. I'll, head back to Esquimalt for the night. Tomorrow we can,
No. You are not leaving. What were you thinking? You have every resource at your disposal to safely experiment with Ultracite, and you decided the best course of action would be a solo mission to a fucking fissure site? You know we have samples at Delta. It's a day's trip to Esquimalt. I could have delivered them to you. What's going on, Jonah?
well, I know with certainty that if I asked you for the samples and told you what I was going to be using them for, you'd be against it. When it comes to something like this, I can't put other people at risk for research that presently holds no strength. Besides, the Fisher sites are the last place I would ever want to send you or Brendan to.
Yes, that. How do you think Bren and I feel about you going to the fissure without backup? You're one of the Brotherhood's greatest assets, and not to mention, one of the most important people in both Brenton's life and my own. Don't automatically assume that I'm against your idea. I want this to be a group matter. We have a lot of smart people here, Jonah, and a lot of people more specialized in fields closely related to Ultracite than you, including myself. We just need to have a mature discussion about the pros and cons, and not just dive into the project without permission and without taking precautions. That's the only way we're going to get this done correctly.
Let me ask you, what's your position when it comes to ultracite, and if we're able to use it in our weapons?
Well,
Be straight with me, Louis. I'm curious.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I think the idea has some merit. However, there are a lot of ethical questions that make me anxious about moving forward with the project. Like Scribe Carlson said, the mining companies are using nuclear weapons to mass produce ultracite, and that's everything we stand against. But, quite frankly, I believe if ultracite weapons are how we can get rid of the Scorched, we should seize the opportunity. It's not like we would be the ones dropping the nukes. It's just to get rid of the Scorch, then yeah, I suppose I support it.
I understand your stance. And if I'm being honest, I suppose I still haven't decided. A part of me knows that if we weaponize this resource and vow only to use it against the Scorch, in time that vow will twist and some of us will utilize it against everything we perceive as a threat. That's dangerous, for sure. The Brotherhood isn't about manufacturing weapons. It shouldn't be. And if other groups in Appalachia found out, well, we might have an arms race out there. But the other part of me knows that we are running out of options and time when it comes to combating the Scorch. They're already picking us off, slowly, and I want to put a stop to that. If using Ultracite is an option, then I'll use it. I guess I just don't know what I should be doing.
Well, it would be our responsibility to make sure things don't get out of hand. There would have to be some consequences for anyone abusing the Ultracite, and we'd have to make sure whoever gets the weapons can really be trusted. And about the other groups, we'd have to be really, really careful. From what I've heard, the Brotherhood already had a problem with its weapons being spread around before I joined up. But that's a risk I'm willing to take. I know we have knights responsible enough to use the weapons for their proper purpose. I don't know how much of a say I'll get in it, but they trust you, the Brotherhood. So, I think you're gonna have to use that trust to advocate for what's right.
Well, ideally, all of us would be supervising each other when we're using Ultracite weapons. This way, and hopefully, we would avoid abusing the same technology we vowed to protect people against. We would also need to compartmentalize the research of it, making sure no other groups get wind of it. It sounds dirty, but it's only until the Scorch are dealt with. End of the day, Louis, where do you stand? Yay or nay?
Yeah, I think we should do it. But what about your friend, Scribe Constance? We listened to that holotape between you and her, but she seemed to think the opposite of what we're discussing right now. Said that using Ultracite as a weapon would just be repeating history. I know her opinion meant a lot to you, and she did complete a lot of research on the stuff. Honestly, it's a bit strange. It wasn't too in-depth, considering she was an engineer, but whatever, that's beside the point. All I'm saying is, even if I disagree, that's something we need to consider.
Oh, Blair. Yeah, I remember that conversation. It was so long ago. Funny, she was giving me shit for the same reason you were. We promised never to utilize it for the time being, but the times certainly have changed then. Either we need to adapt to the times, or honor the ideas of our fallen friends. But it's neither here nor there. We need to decide on something like this as a group, as you said.
Yeah, so for this meeting, we should allow her to have a voice by means of that holotape.
I agree. I'll bring it to the round table when we have that discussion. Even in death, her opinion will carry quite a bit of weight.